How do you make your activity calendar? I always say Canva. Canva is something I started using when I was designing other things like printable activities and stuff like that. And in my own life, I've made things for my family, but the more I use it, the more uses I find for it. And now for over 2 years, I've been using it for my activity calendar, and I will never do any other way. And because I love it so much, I created a template to share with other activity directors. But because it's not something that a lot of people are familiar with in the activity profession, I get a lot of questions on how to start with it. So I'm going to show you. From scratch in a template that you got from me, you're going to get a page like this, and you're going to click the button that says click here. When you open it, you will need to allow. And then you're going to get a page like this, and you're going to click here to say edit template. Sometimes it will also say make a copy to edit template. Okay, so we're going to do a very quick run through of where everything is at. At the top here, you can add a page. You can also delete a page. This is for the whole document. Then you can also duplicate a page, which is what I always do when I start a new month. I go to the last month or my blank template and duplicate so that you can also lock the page and view. You can move the page up or down. Yeah. In the calendar, you can click on the different text boxes and edit what's in them. So if we're going to do activity calendar March 2026, you can do that. And you can come here and change the fonts. If there's a crown, that means it is a pro feature. And even though you can put in your calendar, choose something without a little crown. There's hundreds and hundreds of options, so don't stress about that too much. When I'm making an activity calendar, I like to choose fonts that are narrow, just so that it's a little bit easier to get everything on the calendar. And then you can also adjust the size, and you can adjust the color. You can make it bold, italic, underline, whatever you like. This right here changes it from lowercase to just uppercase. You can do whatever you want. If it will be to the left, center, or right. You can add bullet points. You can have letter spacing. This I use a lot for the line spacing, especially like in my text boxes, because sometimes it's like set out really small or really big, and then I try to make it closer together to fit. You can also set a transparency with this. It's not something I use a lot on my calendars, but that's what it is. You can also add outlines or other effects. You can change the color of the outline. Usually I like to stick to normal. Pretty simple on the calendars. You can also, let's see, you can position it if you want it in the back of other text like this, or you can move it forward. You can also do that with elements. The magic is here on the left, so you can type in, let's say, St. Patrick's Day. Let's type in St. Patrick's Day, and you can find different elements to go on your calendar. Don't think red and green is giving very St. Patrick's-y. We'll stick to green. Yeah, you can add different elements. I like to add elements in boxes that don't have dates, so I might have this little leprechaun. And see how it's just kind of drag and drop? It's very similar to if you use like a PowerPoint program. Another little tip I wanted to give you is that if you do not have a pro account, you can come here at the end of these and click on price, and you can say free or pro. I don't know why you would just search for pro, but you can search for free. That makes it a little bit easier to find elements that aren't going to be watermarked if you don't have an account. Okay. And same with these text boxes, you can change the color, you can change the font, anything you'd like. You can also select multiple. If you want to select all of these and turn them golden, you can do that and they're golden. Then these text boxes have the activities. So if your activities are like, let's say 11 and 3, you can add the times there. Maybe at 11, you're going to do chair yoga. Come on, of course I'm going to have spelling errors because I'm screening live. And let's say we're going to do a St. Patrick's Day craft. I'm questioning why I'm Patrick's. See, it'll do spelling for you, obviously, which is great for me. Anyway, yeah, and you can even, like, let's say your routine activity times are 11 and 3. You can copy the empty ones and paste them into your boxes. So select all. You can also come over here to text and add a text box and create your own box. I don't know if you saw it before, but you can also click and push delete and it will go from there. They're already there for you to use. You can also change the date. So like if this started on the 5th, you can do that in the text boxes. You can change the font of the days of the week. The only thing you should know if you open this template, this table is locked. You are welcome to lock it if you need like different sizing or whatever, but I have found it's just easier to keep it locked when I provide templates so that people are not stressing about the boxes moving. Like for example, if you click here, like you can accidentally click here and like move things around, and that's something I want to avoid. So especially if you're new to Canva, then it kind of helps. But you can unlock it just by clicking on that little lock button. So yes, on the text boxes, you can also come down and find like pre-made little text sets. I don't actually know what they're called, but they're fun. You can use them. And you won't have to worry about brand, especially as if you're like making an activity calendar or a calendar. This is like for businesses, but you can check it if you want. There's uploads. Uploads is fun because it does have you can add your own images. So you can either come here and say upload files and choose, images from your computer, or you can even drag and drop them in here. Of course, it's not going to work. Yeah, so like you can drag in a photo just like that, and it will put it in the document or bring it in here. You can also like send in videos or audio. You can have access to other files in here as well. The tools, I don't use a lot for calendars, but it is kind of fun. You can draw, you can add shapes, kind of like paint, how we all like used paint growing up. Yeah, you can do that here as well. Add different lines, and you can move the lines around. You can add a sticky note. That's helpful if you're like doing like a brainstorm or want to add a note to someone else in a project. You can also add a text box here. Then I do want to show you the tables. So this is how I've created the table in the calendar. These are a little bit different than like word processor tables. You can add columns, but you have to kind of use these little hamburger menus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we would want one more in a calendar. Add column. We probably want a couple extra rows. You can add a row. You can also move the size of the calendar. Just a quick little tip. You can type in these boxes, but the texts are really small. And if you, this isn't my favorite, like, yeah, and then it like really, it just kind of messes with like the stuff inside of it. So if you are making a calendar, I do tend to make the calendar the size that I want, and then I actually lock it and I add text boxes on top of it, and that's usually what works best for me for calendars. Some other things that you can do is you can access other projects and designs that you've made from here, and you can even put them straight in. So like this is a template that I made for some of the residents that needed help knowing where their clothes went in their dresser. So if you have things in one project you want to move to another, especially like with calendars, you're like, oh, last year I remember I made something great. You can pull the calendar in from last year. There are different apps. We're not going to go over these in this video because this is for beginners. If you want, you need elements, you need text, and maybe uploads if you want to add your own pictures, tools. I wanted to also tell you in the elements, you can also find shapes here. Like you can find the shapes or even the tables, you can put them in from here as well. So like as I was editing this video, I realized I didn't tell you what to do once the calendar was made. So I feel like that's important. Let's go over that. So this is our completed activity calendar. I know it's really not, but we're going to pretend it is, okay? So you're going to come here to share, and then you're going to go into download. Then if you want to print it, you're going to come here to print or PDF. You can do PDF print or PDF standard. Since I am printing in color, usually I do try to do the PDF print because it's a little bit higher quality. And then it will give you the option for RGB or CMYK. If you don't know what that means, just trust me, do CMYK. And because this template has multiple pages, because I've copied and pasted from other months, just select the page you want to do. So I'm going to say current page, or you can select two, whatever pages you want, and you're going to push done. And then we're going to push download here. Something else I like to do, this does give you the option to save in other formats. So if you're sharing like a calendar on, I don't know, Facebook or sending it to families, whatever, you can save as a JPEG or a PNG. This makes it good for sharing even in like a text message, but usually like even on emails and stuff, you can also save as a PDF and it works great. Once you open the PDF, you can print it like this. It is created and saved in US letter size. And I wanted to also just kind of touch base on why I make the calendar in US letter size, even though we post it bigger like on our bulletin board. It's because we also give out the smaller versions for the residents to keep. So I just create it in US letter size. And then this little hack that I do is I print it in poster mode. This on my personal computer, it's called Tile Large Pages. In my workplace, it's called Poster Mode. So you're just going to have to kind of get to know your printer. But if you go to Tile Large Pages or Poster Mode, you can then decide how big you want to blow it up. So like if I want it 250%, I will put that in the computer and it will make it blow up. And if you look kind of close, like where the mouse is, you can see how it's like on different pages. So it will print on different pages, and then right here where it says overlap, that will like make it print so that there's a little bit over the line on each page, so that when you cut it out, you can overlap it so that it's more of a seamless thing when you post it on the wall or bulletin board. So yeah, that's my little tip. And that's my little tutorial on how I use Canva for my activity calendars. If you have any other questions, you can either comment below the video, or even better, I invite you to join our community and ask me or other activity professionals there for their tips. And we have a lot of fun there, so I would love to see you there. Thanks for stopping by and hope this helps. Bye.